Welcome to Ladies of Another View on Back. It's Monday, and we are here with Andrea, Jan, and Mary.
Hello.
And I'm Patty.
Did anybody else go to the Bucks game on Saturday night?
Woo, woo.
I swear to God, it was the most fun I have had in a long time. I've never been to an indoor football game, and holy buckets, you guys are missing out if you haven't been there.
That action is right up
It
in
was
your
like
face.
right in your
was
face.
amazing.
And if you look at those football players, they're long and lean. I was thinking they don't look
Yeah.
like NFL players.
No.
That's because it's a sprint game.
Yes.
There's so much action. It's so exciting.
It moves so fast.
And so fast. It was great. It was fantastic.
Lot of fun.
I can't believe how much fun it was to watch.
We did. We had so much fun, and at one point I thought some of you were going to be tackled. And I'm not
The whole
kidding.
wall moved. It
I'm
was
not
like-
kidding.
It's the same kind of intensity as a hockey game, and being up against the boards. It was crazy
It was
fun.
great. It was great.
You are really in on the game.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I hope there's another game coming up this weekend. So we'll talk more about that later in the week. I want to welcome to the show today the counterculture mom, Tina Griffin. Welcome, Tina.
Hey, thanks for having me. You can't tell, but I have like a marathon type shirt on. It says coffee and cardio because I tell you what, in this day and age, I'm literally always running 90 miles an hour. My husband's like, when are you going to sit down?
You know, as a matter of fact, we planned part of the show while you were making lunch for your 4 kids today.
Yeah,
Wow.
but you know what? We planned a show. The thing is, I typically don't feed them at 2 p.m. They kept asking me, when are we going to eat? I'm like, you know what? We have to get this homeschool testing done and then we can eat. And then I look at the watch. I'm like, it's 2:00. No wonder they're wanting to eat.
It's like, didn't you eat yesterday?
Yeah,
Again?
You
Yeah.
just ate 3 minutes ago. I know these guys. It's like I don't know what it is, but I grew up on a dairy farm in Wisconsin. You know, we ate 3 times a day, and they were larger meals. And my mom would ring the dinner bell because we're out in the back 40, and she'd say, "Hey, the food's on the table. If you don't get it, your brothers are going to eat it." So we ate 3 times a day, full meals. These kids today need to eat 14 times a day. I'm like, what happened in the last 40 years?
Right,
I don't
right.
know.
Tina, you mentioned you grew up on a dairy farm. I'd like you to introduce yourself to our audience. How did you go from a dairy farm on Wisconsin to Hollywood, California?
Well, at the age of 16, I gave my life to the Lord, and I literally said, just, the day that I made that salvation pledge, mission, gave my heart to the Lord, I just said, I'm serious about the cause. I'm serious about my stance, and I'm putting 110% of my effort and belief behind it. I'm all in. So telling myself I was willing to take the bullet for the cause. I never knew that literally 25, 26 years later, that's exactly where we're at in today's day and age. But growing up on a dairy farm, once I became a Christian, I started to have my eyes open on pop culture and media influence on my generation. And back then we were watching shows like 90210 and Melrose Place and, Elf. And they still had a couple of shows like Little House on the Prairie that I watch with my kids still today. Our whole family will watch those DVDs, they're still available to get on Amazon and other places online. But back then as a kid, I started seeing major issues with the shows that were out there. 90210, I remember reading when I was 16 years old on the farm one night after milking cows, baling hay, and picking rocks. Jason Priestley had wrapped his car around a tree going 80 some miles an hour. And that drinking and driving accident, I'm thinking, man, someone's got to get out to LA and talk to these celebrities about the impact of drugs and alcohol. My big thinking, big dreams back at 16 years old. Little did I know 4 years later, after going through 2 years of broadcasting classes at the University of Wisconsin, Green Bay, the door opened for the opportunity to go to Cal State Los Angeles and to finish my last 2 years of broadcasting there as a film major. And when I saw the paperwork, I was 110% behind that. Signed my name, found out about a month or 2 later that I was accepted, was freaking out because excited I got accepted, but thinking, how am I going to tell my parents who've never left the farm? I've never left the farm besides going 20 minutes away to a college, that I was now going to pack my truck and head 2,289 miles west. But I did. Not against their thoughts or desire, but they were scared for me. And I remember going over the first hill on Highway 10, heading into LA thinking, is this it? Is this all I'm going to see for lights? We got this. It looked like a small little city. I go over the second hill. This is at the age of 20 now. And I'm thinking, what have I done? there were lights for miles, and the door opened rather quickly to work in film and TV for those 10 years. And it went from learning about pop culture to then speaking out, I don't want to say against it, but having teens at that time, teens, now parents, for the last 20 years, this month is 20 years I've been doing this, exposing pop culture, Hollywood, and its agenda so that parents and teens can make wise media choices. Because in today's day and age, knowing what I know after living in Hollywood and doing a ton of research, I know who controls it. I know who's behind it. I know their agenda. And so they're showing and promoting one main message that literally, if we believed and acted upon a majority of what Hollywood is telling us to do, we'd be dead 6 feet under with a sexually transmitted disease or in prison. And I wanted to raise the standard, raise the bar for our youth today, and help parents who are blowing up our phone and social media right now, especially because of COVID, saying what is safe for our kids to watch. It seems like so many programs have horrific content. Are there any positive shows for our kids? Are there any great apps? Absolutely there are. But of course, the mainstream media does not want to promote positive because they can't make money if kids decide to do abstinence and wait to have sex until marriage, don't drink and drive, not change their gender, not have an abortion. There's no money in that. So they're going to promote the opposite lifestyle because they're all connected to each other and they're all in it to make a cash, the big dollar, but they're using teens' bodies as income in the process. And our poor teens today, tweens and toddlers, are suffering greatly. But the hope is if we choose wise entertainment in our home and we're picky about what they consume when it comes to a media diet, we have a winning combination.
Okay, Tina, before we go to the break, I want to put up on the screen how people can, I'm sure you've enticed people like, yeah, I want to find out more. So here are some ways we can go to the Counterculture Mom. That's your website, counterculturemom.com. You also have it for our free media guide. You can text.
Yeah, actually, that we updated that number on the bottom. So I want everybody to know that the number you want to text is to the number 55444. So you text the word guide to 55444 and you'll get our free parent media guide loaded with tons of positive entertainment. And then also go to our website, counterculturemom.com. And when we come back, if you want to dig in deep to the app, we have a Counterculture Mom app that is by far the best platform that our team has, that is non-censored. It allows us to share the truth about what's going on in pop culture. It's loaded with positive entertainment options, featured educators, freebie giveaways, free viewings of movies. It's loaded with excellent content because we've been basically taken down for Twitter. That has been hacked. My Facebook, I'm in jail more than I'm out of it. YouTube, they're taking down my videos left and right. So big tech has had a major impact on our ministry, big tech wise, on social media. But our app is skyrocketing in downloads. And when people are now getting the app, they're going to the premium section and getting premium because that's the one spot where no one has touched us and we're allowed to actually share the truth without being censored. So I say Counterculture Mom app.
I just downloaded the app, Counterculture Mom. So I invite everybody to do that. Amazing content, especially like you say, you get up to the minute information because you have a lot of people working for you. So we're going to talk more about this after the break. I want to talk about some of the stuff that we really need to look at because if you're not paying attention to what's going on in media and children's entertainment, you're going to be shocked. I'm shocked. So for adults. So we'll be right back after these messages with Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Respect, innovation, trust, and excellence. These core values can be seen in every building built by Straightway Construction. In the community for over 15 years, Straightway Construction has become the premier construction company for commercial projects. From dirt to design and framing to finish, Straightway Construction is your number one choice. You won't have to look far to find a project that has that Straightway touch. Call them today or go online to straightwayconstruction.com and let them make your vision a reality.
Watch No Filter with me, Debbie Schlussel, for no-nonsense, unfiltered analysis of the news that matters to you. You'll see engaging guests,
It began a 444-day nightmare.
entertaining analysis, and it has everything to do with something that happened in history, and honest movie reviews. Trust me, this is just atrocious. No Filter with Debbie, weeknights at 10 p.m. Central on Beck News and online at beck.news.
Hi, I'm Dennis Haugen, along with my sons Andy and Mike, and we're showing our support for wind energy in North Dakota.
Wind energy has provided farmers like us with a steady stream of income that's not tied to the weather like crops and cattle are.
Another bonus is that wind farm owners are required to maintain the roads leading up to the turbines. Because of that, oftentimes these roads are the best in the county. Wind energy is good for landowners, it's good for the land, it's good for our economy, and it's good for North Dakota.
Pub 21, your one stop for fun, drinks, and food. Our spacious facility provides COVID-safe fun for you and all your friends. With nightly bingo and specials, you can be sure there's something to do for everyone. If you're staying in for the night, we've got you covered just across the way with Pub 21 Liquor. We have a wide variety of options, from wine to whiskey and everything in between. Stop in today at 1014 South 12th Street in Bismarck to see what all the buzz is about. You won't be disappointed.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Back, and we are once again joined with Tina Griffin, the counterculture mom, and you are an dynamo for sure. This is going so fast, all this information. I know we're going to want to have you on often. You talked about, you went from a Wisconsin dairy farm to Hollywood, and you also did some acting in Hollywood, right?
Yeah, I did a lot of film and TV in my 20s. While I was getting my degree in film and television broadcasting, I did that 2 days a week from like 7 in the morning till 10 at night so I could jam pack my classes, which would allow me to go on movie sets, TV shows on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And so I worked on the movie Little Black Book with Brittany Murphy. That was an eye-opener conversation. She basically told me, I don't agree with what I'm doing, but I feel like I have to do this in order to get ahead in the industry. And our rather long conversation, I basically asked her, what was it like being on set in your previous movie of 8 Mile with Marshall Mathers, AKA Eminem, the big time rapper for the last 25 years, practically. Great talent, just very vulgar music. He's using it for the wrong side, using it for the enemy. And millions of kids are impacted by his music. And I said, can I just be frank? She goes, yeah, share what's on your heart. I said, well, you did drug scenes, sex scenes, the scenes that you did in that movie that a lot of young people are being impacted by and believing that you can live a lifestyle and there's no consequences. And she looked really guilty, but at the same time told me, you have no idea how bad the pressure is. And that was when I first moved to LA, and my whole, my jaw dropped and my eyes were opened as to the fact that many celebrities I met during those 10 years, a lot of them did not want to do what they were told to do. A lot of them didn't want to wear the clothing they were told to wear or say the lines or do the scenes that they were directed to do. But the pressure was so high because they're wanting to pay the bills, get the next gig on their resume, become famous in the process. If they say no, there's 3,000 people look just like them in LA that could take over their role in 2 seconds. So the pressure was so great that when she shared that with me, my heart broke because I saw and heard firsthand from celebrities in that decade just how many regretted a lot of the junk that they did in pop culture. And then my heart broke for the millions of fans that are impacted because then they would go out and do the very same activities that were causing them to be depressed, suicidal, drug overdose, pregnant, abortions, all this garbage, eating disorders. In fact, we're writing a book right now with 14 authors on our team called Pop Culture Purge, because I have had enough of pop culture causing or promoting major issues among our young people today that they have a grave responsibility. If they're going to promote drinking and driving, you better have someone dead. You better have someone going to AA or getting help in the process. Otherwise, if you're glamorizing it, you're literally contributing to children and teens and young adults doing those behaviors and dying as a result.
Okay, Tina.
Because they're given a falsified view.
Speaking of the pulp culture and what kids are being have shoved down their throat, what's going on at Pixar right now that we should be concerned about?
Well, Pixar, we have in the Counterculture Mom app, we have a bunch of information that goes out every single day. Like I'm talking 6 to 8 alerts. We have a very crafty way that our 16, 17 content curators on our team, just for the app, we have about 23 people on the team total. They have a way to get this information ahead of time. And 90% of the time, we're blasting out this content before any main news media source gets, just because we have a neat system on the back end, because we want the power back in the parents' hands. And so when Pixar first announced this, or even before they announced it, we got our hands on it, they're having a casting call for trans girls only. They just released a casting call looking for an actor who can authentically portray a 14-year-old transgender girl. And the issue we have here is they're trying hard to diversify the characters in its movies. The Gay and Lesbian Alliance Against Defamation has noted that the last few years have seen few movies with main characters that are LGBTQ. Well, now we're seeing the opposite. The very opposite is true today. We hardly see any kids with two gender possibilities here working in film and TV, portraying it doesn't even have to be God honoring, which is great. I'm totally for God honoring, but a high moral, high standard way of living where they date, but they don't have sex before marriage, where abstinence is actually promoted, where if they make a mistake, someone's getting an STD. So it all goes back to all of these different lifestyles are being portrayed, where less than 0.5% of our culture is even literally living this lifestyle. But if you have George Soros and Bill Gates and the Obamas, who are very involved and on the board with Netflix programming and the New World Order, and how deep do I go here on this segment? It's a whole nother program. Controlling the mainstream media, they want to brainwash and indoctrinate our young people today to think that this lifestyle is in, hip, and cool, when it not only goes against the word of God, where I'm the most passionate, but is literally against science. And they are promoting a lifestyle that is causing a lot of kids that I personally talk to when I go to a school assembly or a camp, or I go to a leadership event. I have teens saying, I feel like I have to do this lifestyle in order to fit in. I don't want to live this lifestyle, or I'm in this lifestyle, I want to get out, or I feel the pressure to be in the lifestyle, but I don't want to even get into it. They're feeling such high pressures. And we have elementary students in schools today being told to pick out of 24 genders in school, and Facebook giving 71 gender options. You wonder why our kids are confused, suicidal, depressed, eating disorders, and everything else, because you have companies like Pixar that are looking for and glamorizing a lifestyle that now kids think, and they blow up my phone and send us messages through social media saying, do you mean to tell me I have to live this lifestyle, Tina, in order to be the next hit in Hollywood? Because I want to be an actor, but they're forcing me to live a certain lifestyle I don't want to live in order to get the next big role in a movie. That's the problem I have with Hollywood.
So speaking of the next biggest hit, tell us who JoJo Siwa is, because she's the big hit right now, right?
Absolutely. So JoJo Siwa. So if I could quickly just show you right before I go into that, how awesome these alerts are so parents know what's going on. Here's the alert for Pixar we just talked about in our app. Download the Counterculture Mom app. You then in literally 2 minutes can read about it, and there's pop culture purge information, the solution to the problem, positive entertainment options for parents so they're not feeling like they're lost. JoJo Siwa just announced that she is dating a woman from Florida. She has millions and millions of followers. I'm going to dig up more information here on the break because I want to read actually what's on the alert. Here's JoJo Siwa, just blasted this out about 2 weeks ago. She is living her best pansexual life. On April 7th, 17-year-old JoJo Siwa told People magazine that she identifies as pansexual. She also let them know about her relationship with Kylie Prue, an 18-year-old young woman from Florida. Problem with this is she is a very large celebrity among tweens. We're talking 7 to 8 years old up to about 12 to 13 years old. A lot of young girls are thinking now that they have to get into this lifestyle in order to fit in. There's more to talk about her. We can do that
So
on the
define
right
what
after
a
the commercial break.
define what a pansexual is for our viewers, because we're a little bit confused right here.
Yes. Pansexual, she first came out in a series of social media posts back in January. She opened up about her current relationship, basically that they can have a relationship with more than one person, more than one sexual preference. And a lot of times you're now hearing Will Smith's daughter, Willow Smith, thinking the same type of lifestyle is completely fine and basically a trending hit thing to do. And these celebrities, like the ones we just named off, are also okay now with an open relationship. Willow Smith, for example, we could talk more about her in a minute. She is married, but she's totally fine with having sex outside of marriage, because then she says adultery isn't going to be an issue because we're okay with basically lowering their standards and having sex with whoever and as many times as they want with all these different partners, and it's not a big deal. That's a sad situation. Willow Smith grew up in a home with Will and Jada Pinkett Smith living the exact same lifestyle. So you can see the generational, in my situation, how I would name it is curse, the generational curse on these families where you have celebrities literally living a certain lifestyle, their kids then repeat it, and sometimes even go more deep into that.
And you are trying to break the cycle and educate the parents and turn things around. So we're going to talk some more about that when we come back, right after these messages with Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Jeez, what a mess. Look at that. There's roof stuff everywhere. It's so embarrassing. Ruins the neighborhood. Come on, humans. Let's get this fixed.
Don't let your roof go to the dogs. Call America's Best Contractors for your free estimate.
Need a new woof?
After checking with the rest, go with the best. America's Best Contractors. 258-2412. Online at americasbestcontractorsincorporated.com.
Hey Bucks fans, if you're planning an outing, birthday, or employee appreciation night, then bring your group out to the Buck Stop for a night of fast-paced, high-scoring football. Your group will receive discounted tickets, options for reserved seating, scoreboard messages, VIP services, swag, and a space to gather during the game. You can also participate in pre-game ceremonies, halftime entertainment, in-game contests, and more. Call 701-595-0771 or visit bismarckbucks.com/tickets. All GA is first come, first serve. We'll see you on the turf. Go Bucks!
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow. Thanks to your support, you've helped make MyPillow become one of the fastest growing companies in America. Over the last 12 years, you've helped MyPillow create thousands of jobs right here in the USA.
When I got MyPillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
That's why I invented MyPillow. My patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs and helps keep your neck supported and aligned. I'm interrupting this commercial right now. Retailers have canceled MyPillow, and to thank you for your support, I'm gonna pass the savings directly on to you. For example, you get my 6-piece towel sets, regular $109.99, now only $44.98, or MyPillow dog beds for as low as $19.99 with your promo code.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
Ever been in a cave before?
It's our first time.
All right.
Where are you going?
I'll see you at the car! How will we? The car! Your offer has been accepted. Ever bought a house before?
It's our first time.
All right.
Where are you going?
I'll see you at the closing. But how will we? The closing!
Hey everybody, I'm Doug Billings, your host of The Right Side with Doug Billings on Beck News. We bring you high-profile guests, ladies and gentlemen, exclusive guests. Now, you're not going to see these guests in most of the mainstream media outlets. Another thing that I do here is give guests a platform to speak freely. You're not going to see me censor anybody. Please join us, won't you? Weeknights right here on Beck TV and online at beck.news. Cheers.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View. I'm back with Tina. Tina, I feel like you are so energetic and you're so packed full of information, but still, we just need more time with you, and this is going to be our last segment. So I want you to touch on, where is this agenda coming from? Like, why would anybody want to take away the wholesomeness of family life and children and harm them? Where is this coming from?
Well, I think Joseph Stalin said it best, quote, America is like a healthy body and its resistance is threefold. It's patriotism, it's morality, and it's spiritual life. If we can undermine these three areas, America will collapse from within. And I have chills right now reading that out loud because it's happening right here, right now on American soil. I've always had a sense of urgency, always had it. God has opened my eyes tremendously, like many of my friends, many of my speaker tour partners over the years. I've been speaking, like I said, thousands of places, millions of people for the last 20 years. And it's coming from a very good place you can go to. It's coming from communism. And if you look at the book, The Naked Communist, back in 1963, 45 communist goals were released on how to take over our beloved United States of America. After 50 years, every goal has been accomplished on American soil except for taking over the police force. But man, are we close to losing our police force. The goals that really struck a nerve with me is goal 15, capture one or both of the political parties in the U.S. That definitely happened. Goal 17, get control of the schools, use them as transmission belts for socialism and current communist propaganda, soften the curriculum. Bill Gates is behind Common Core. I know a ton of information and his agenda with his cohorts about destroying the fabric of our country through the public indoctrination school system. Goal number 18, gain control of all student newspapers. Done. Goal 20, infiltrate the press, get control of the book review assignments, editorial writing, policy-making positions. I went with Kevin and Sam Sorbo, the guy that played Hercules for years, over to Israel with my husband and about 30 other people 2 years ago. I'm at a museum in Israel that was basically a memorial for the Holocaust. And God said, open your eyes in this one section of the museum, and I did. What do you see? I saw a bunch of red flags. The one that really stuck out was book burning, how book burning happened right before Holocaust. And I will just say that I think big tech censorship in America is today's look at what book burning looked like 50, 60 years ago. Majority of Americans have no clue what's about to hit this country, which is why I'm dead set and willing to die for the cause to get the truth out to the masses. I have a ton of info also on my YouTube channel, a lot of videos being stripped down right now of the truth of what's about to hit American soil. The communism agenda on America is deep and it's wide, and many Americans have no clue what's about to hit. Goal 21, gain control of key positions in radio, TV, and motion pictures. That happened in Hollywood by the communists. Goal 24, eliminate all laws governing obscenity by calling them censorship and violation of free speech and free press. All of the rest is present homosexuality, promiscuity as normal, natural, healthy, discredit the family as an institution. On and on, all basically destroying the family structure as we knew it, and our grandparents knew it from decades prior. So it is critical, if a fourth of these communist goals are dealing with pop culture, that we must pay attention to what is entering our homes, entering through apps, entering through friends, entering through Netflix, the movie theaters when we go, the radio stations we have on, the things that kids are looking at on their YouTube, even KidsTube. So much of it is communist geared with an anti-family, anti-God, anti-life, anti-gun, anti-Bible, anti-homeschooling agenda. They do not want us to think critical, think for ourselves, think 2 steps ahead, be pro-America, pro-God, pro-gun, pro-Bible, pro-family. They want to destroy it from within. They have billions of dollars to do it, and we cannot remain brainwashed. We must wake up, and we have to look at what's entering our home. Otherwise, we're going to constantly be putting out fires by replacing corrupt political figures or political people have got to be replacing corrupt pop culture icons. we have to literally dig into the root of the problem and make sure our kids are growing up and thriving in an environment that is pro-America, pro-life, pro-God. If we can get the right information in their brain, positive entertainment, uplifting entertainment, we will have amazing leaders tomorrow in our country that we will never have to replace.
I want to encourage people to go to your website, counterculturemom.com, and also to get your app, Counterculture Mom. Get the app, and then you'll get all the latest news releases and everything up-to-the-minute news that you get. Give us some more positive, encouraging news that you are seeing so that there is maybe hope for the future.
Absolutely. So many people love the Counterculture Mom app because we're constantly blasting out the information ahead of time. So we have parents that tell us, because we had a video game review that someone blasted out there, my kid wanted the game, I looked at the info ahead of time through your app, didn't get it, but got the suggested positive video games. We now have kids that are not talking back, swearing, aggressive behavior, bad grades, staying up till 3 a.m, playing negative video games, bullying other kids, being bullied, eating disorders. I'm telling you, the negative, harmful content that goes in children literally shapes their worldview, and that's what they believe, and that's what they constantly are thinking, the negative thoughts, the negative images going in their brain. That's why we're seeing so many issues that we talked about earlier. Positive information, positive pop culture is what parents are saying thank you so much for. Now, in our app, besides warning parents to run from the garbage, we also have a extras and freebies section on our app. So the exclusive perks, if they go in there, they're going to see all of these different companies that we partner with, and you can scroll down and still get a bunch of these great different groups. We have Smart Social with Josh Ox. He's awesome with apps, has a ton of positive apps for parents to get their hands on. We have Teach Them Diligently. We partner with them. I've been speaking with them at their different conferences for years. They're great with homeschooling resources for people. Gab Wireless, just talked to them today. You can get discounts and freebies on our app. They have a cell phone that looks like an iPhone, but you can't be tracked down or traced by a pedophile, be bullied. There's no way to send out graphic images through texting. Gab Wireless is phenomenal. And a lot of these people, parents have said, kids have stopped cutting themselves. I had many parents over the years, but one specific mom said, you came and spoke at a parent event, talked about the negative lyrics in the songs. My kids were listening to those songs. One kid in particular, I talked to him for 3 hours the very next day. And that kid, after pounding into his head, please talk to me, because I knew something was wrong, he then showed me a suicide note, and he was going to carry out the suicide the very next day. So she was able to talk to her kid ahead of time. I've had kids that 10 years ago had CD smashing parties on their high school front lawn down in San Diego area. 700 students got together and smashed apart a bunch of CDs. That image that they made for me is on my wall to remind me what happens when you expose the Hollywood nasty agenda. Tons of positive stories. Parents want the positive. Kids feel better if they get positive entertainment. I highly suggest people text the word guide, GUIDE, to that number 55444, and they will get hundreds of positive entertainment options and see a huge difference in their kids' lives, in their worldview, and in their culture. That app is loaded. It's the top resource. Download the Counterculture Mom app, click on premium, and I'm telling you, you will love the content our team is pumping out to help save the masses.
Tina, thank you. Thank you for coming on. You were an amazing guest. Absolutely. And I can't encourage people enough to go to counterculturemom.com and also get the app. And thank you for everything that you're doing, because I know you've even had death threats. So it's a pretty big thing. You're fighting a war here.
When you're getting death threats, you know you're doing something right. Go get them, parents. You got this.
Thank you.
You keep going. So we'll be right back with Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Since opening in Hebron in 1940, Dakota Community Bank and Trust has been your hometown bank. Our mission has been to provide modern banking convenience with old-fashioned hometown service. We've grown with the communities we serve through year-round events, countless sponsorships, and nearly 7,000 hours of volunteering each year. Learn more about our 80-year history at dakotacommunitybank.com.
Watch No Filter with me, Debbie Schlussel, for no-nonsense, unfiltered analysis of the news that matters to you. You'll see engaging guests,
It began a 444-day nightmare.
entertaining analysis, and it has everything to do with something that happened in history, and honest movie reviews. Trust me, this is just atrocious. No Filter with Debbie, weeknights at 10 p.m. Central on Beck News and online at beck.news.
Respect, innovation, trust, and excellence. These core values can be seen in every building built by Straightway Construction. In the community for over 15 years, Straightway Construction has become the premier construction company for commercial projects. From dirt to design and framing to finish, Straightway Construction is your #1 choice. You won't have to look far to find a project that has that Straightway touch. Call them today or go online to straightwayconstruction.com and let them make your vision a reality.
Jeez, what a mess. Look at that. There's roof stuff everywhere. It's so embarrassing. Ruins the neighborhood. Come on, humans. Let's get this fixed.
Don't let your roof go to the dogs. Call America's Best Contractors for your free estimate.
Need a new woof?
After checking with the rest, go with the best. America's Best Contractors. 258-2412. Online at americasbestcontractorsincorporated.com.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow. Thanks to your support, you've helped make MyPillow become one of the fastest growing companies in America. Over the last 12 years, you've helped MyPillow create thousands of jobs right here in the USA.
When I got my pillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
That's why I invented MyPillow. My patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs and helps keep your neck supported and aligned. I'm interrupting this commercial right now. Retailers have canceled MyPillow, and to thank you for your support, I'm going to pass the savings directly on to you. Go to MyPillow.com right now to get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. For example, you can get my premium MyPillows, regularly $69.98, now just $29.98, the lowest price ever.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck, and we are being joined by Dr. Tracy Malberg. She is the medical director of Hospice of the Red River Valley.
That's correct.
And you were out at UMary this morning training some nurse practitioners on hospice care, right?
Absolutely. I'm a UMary grad myself, so
good.
It was nice to get back.
And you have 8 children.
Yes,
right?
we do. We do. Yeah, it's busy at our house.
And the best part is your husband loves our show, right?
Yeah, he's a good military man, and yeah, he's a wonderful man.
Well,
he's a fireman in Fargo. Wonderful.
Okay, I appreciate hearing that. What's his name?
Steve Sylvester. Yep.
Hi, Steve. Thanks for watching. Yep, we appreciate it, and we appreciate everybody watching. And we're going to talk about something that some people think is depressing. But as a freelance writer, I've covered the topic of hospice before, and it's not as depressing as people think, right?
Right, absolutely. You know, one of the arguments that we face frequently is people feeling as though hospice is sort of giving up on life. And it's so much the opposite of that. You know, it's taking charge of the end of your life and doing the things that bring you joy and being comfortable and being in control of your destiny. At the end of life, there's often so many things that are just out of people's control. And this brings it back and allows people to sort of still have control of their own destiny. If they want to be at home, if that's where they want to die, or play out the last days of their life, last months of their life, we can often help with that. You know, bring supports into the home, bring supports around for the caregivers, whoever that may be, a spouse, children, you know, whatever. There are so many things that go into hospice care that people are just unaware of. They think of it as the last days of life and taking care of pain. But that's just a very small portion of what we do. So
I've heard many people talk about it as being a very beautiful time, a very sacred time. And people are going to pass on into the next life, and so you actually help them to prepare for that and make it a beautiful time, right?
Absolutely. It's really the only area of medicine, I mean, every other area of medicine focuses on avoiding death. I mean, that's what we're trained to do, right? And it's hard for medical providers sometimes to switch into that, you know, we're done being aggressive. You know, what's going on now, we can't cure. So how can we help you live your best life? And that's really where we need to bring people to, bring families to. And with hospice, you know, we have a wonderful support staff. We have chaplaincy, we have social workers. Each patient who comes on to our service has a team of, well, not only myself, but a nurse that's assigned to them, a social worker to help if there are issues. You know, social workers, I say all the time, they do all the really hard stuff, all the paperwork, and if there are legal things that need to be done, end of life planning, you know, funeral homes, and you know, all that sort of thing. It's very beneficial for families, for the patient who's dying to play a role in that, and to have some active participation. Plus, we're able to support the families. We have a nationally recognized bereavement team. And, you know, sometimes if the dying one and their loved ones can do some bereavement together, that really helps the long-term coping. When my dad was on hospice, one of the best things that happened to my brothers was for Dad to just say, you know, I'm not scared and I'm ready. And I think we're so much better off if we can get people to that point.
I would think that people choose hospice for different reasons. I mean, some of it, like you said, is pain management.
Absolutely.
There's nothing else we can do to stop what's happening, so let's make it as comfortable as possible. But sometimes I would think that family members kind of need that that little bit of an okay from the patient. I'm not sure if that's how you refer to them. But the patient needs to be able to tell them, here's what I want to happen when I'm gone. So they get a little bit of comfort that way as well. Correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The biggest regrets I see are the things that are unsaid, not the things that get said. And so by helping to facilitate an open dialogue, you know, with myself and the family, or the chaplains and the family, or whatever, but just opening that dialogue and being able to talk about those things that are, you know, in this stoic Scandinavian group of folks we have here. I mean, I grew up here, so I know it's one of those things you just don't talk about, because then you're quitting. But there's so many people, if you ask them, you know, do you want to have this done? Do you want to go back in the hospital? Do you want to have, I mean, one of the benefits of being in medicine in this generation is that there are so many technological advances and things that we can do. But the problem is we don't always stop to ask what we should do. And sometimes, you know, just listening to the patients and what do you want to do? Giving them that control over their destiny is just a beautiful part of that process.
So how do they decide if hospice is right for them?
Well, one of the really great things is we can come out and do what's called a referral or an assessment wherever home is. If that's the farmhouse out in rural North Dakota, or a skilled nursing facility, assisted living, even if people are in the hospital and they want to know, can I get home if I have hospice services? Can I remain at home for the rest of my, you know, rest of my days, whatever that is. We can come wherever they're living, wherever they're at, and do an evaluation and kind of go with it from there.
Hospice is it's about care, right, and providing services. I think a lot of people think that, oh, you're going to hospice, that it's a place. It's not a place, right?
Right. And I tell people all the time, if we have a little kind of saying, if you've seen one hospice, you've seen one hospice. Because the differences between hospice services are pretty big. I mean, there are some basic requirements that the government has as far as, you know, certain things that have to be done. But the benefit we have of having been around for 40 years and having, I mean, we have an army of volunteers that at some point in their life have been touched by hospice somehow, and now they're just giving back, or just for whatever reason. But we have a tremendous number of volunteers, and I like to think it's part of the North Dakota Nice and the, give back, but we have just beautiful people here who do wonderful things.
Well, if somebody wanted to volunteer with hospice, what would you volunteer for?
Sometimes simple things like reading to people whose vision is, going. We have a number of people who just want somebody to come and read them the paper, or play cards, or take them for walks, or sometimes get groceries. Different. I mean, it depends on the situation. The options are pretty broad. Sometimes we have people who volunteer and cut hair, or do massages, or whatever their skills are.
So if that's something somebody's thinking of, they can call up a hospice provider and say, I'm not quite sure what I might be able to help you with, but maybe you can help them to figure out where they can plug themselves in.
Absolutely.
Because what a beautiful time. And I know from loved ones, or people I know that have been with their loved ones when they've died, they have always said how beautiful it is and how precious that time was.
Very much. The one complaint that we get from people is, I wish I would have called sooner. Simply, they end up with weeks instead of months, or, they just want a little bit more of that time. Some of the people who've been on hospice said the beauty of it is it takes the worries away. I know somebody's going to be there to care for me. I know I'm going to get my meds. I know that somebody's looking out for my loved ones. And it really just takes so much of the worry out of it.
Yeah, because you've got professionals. They know the considerations and the important things and how to relieve people of their burdens and help escort them into that next stage of life, right? Because life continues. So we're gonna come up with some other ideas, talk a little bit more about this when we continue with Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Respect, innovation, trust, and excellence. These core values can be seen in every building built by Straightway Construction. In the community for over 15 years, Straightway Construction has become the premier construction company for commercial projects. From dirt to design and framing to finish, Straightway Construction is your #1 choice. You won't have to look far to find a project that has that Straightway touch. Call them today or go online to straightwayconstruction.com and let them make your vision a reality.
Deciding how to promote your business can be hard. Visit the professionals at Dakota Promotions and Printing and let them help you through your struggle. Dakota Promotions provides promotional items and apparel, from corporate gifts to team shirts and everything in between. With quick turnaround times and friendly service, they are your best choice. And best yet, you're shopping local. Visit them online at dakotapromo.com or stop in their showroom at 320 West Main in Mandan. Dakota Promotions, delivering promotions just for you.
Every great pizza has a secret. At New York To Go, that secret lies in our perfectly recreated New York water, the key ingredient to making our signature New York-style pizza. We also feature gyros, with the region's only gyro meat spit, plus Nathan's hot dogs, calzones, and our delicious jumbo buffalo wings. Try a 14-inch or our special giant 20-inch pizza tonight. You gotta know how to fold them if you want to hold them. New York To Go, we deliver for you.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Hey Bucks fans, if you're planning an outing, birthday, or employee appreciation night, then bring your group out to the Buck Stop for a night of fast-paced, high-scoring football. Your group will receive discounted tickets, options for reserved seating, scoreboard messages, VIP services, swag, and a space to gather during the game. You can also participate in pre-game ceremonies, halftime entertainment, in-game contests, and more. Call 701-595-0771 or visit bismarckbucks.com/tickets. All GA is first come, first serve. We'll see you on the turf. Go Bucks!
I'm Rick Becker from No Apologies. Welcome to your after hours oasis of sanity. How can these people not see that they're just clowns?
We help simplify and educate you on things going on in the legislature and around the country.
Asking the hard-hitting questions.
But also having Lee Stack and Sid and Marty Croft stuff, and we've talked about that sometimes. It's bad.
Watch us weeknights at 9 Central on Beck News and online at beck.news.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck, and we are once again joined with Dr. Tracy Malberg. She's the medical director of Hospice of the Red River Valley. Thank you so much for coming, and there's your website. So you could go to, if you want to learn more, you can go to, it's your initials, Hospice of the Red River Valley, hrrv.org. And Andrea, you had a question.
Yeah, you had mentioned time in terms of people feeling like they only had weeks left or wishing that they had months. But how do you know when it's the right time to reach out to hospice?
And it's a little bit of an art form. The rules say 6-month life expectancy, but it's a fairly gray zone from a medical standpoint. Nobody's got that crystal ball, right. And so it's largely when condition is declining. If you're having frequent hospital visits, or just not able to get around the house anymore, requiring somebody be with the loved one all the time. Those kinds of things are, if there's just been a dramatic decline. And honestly, we'll come out and do the evaluation, and if we think, maybe not quite yet, we'll say, let us check back in a month or so and see how things are going. And we try and keep close eyes on folks just to make sure, we don't miss anything.
Do insurance programs cover this?
It is a federal benefit, so if it's a federal benefit under the Medicare program. And actually, hospice covers equipment that needs to be in the home, all the medications related to their diagnosis. So it's actually a very big financial benefit for a lot of people.
And you have experienced many inspirational moments during hospice care, haven't you? Do you want to share?
They're just beautiful things. You'll see the picture that was shown with our website was a hot air balloon ride. We had a lady on our service who'd always wanted to go on a hot air balloon ride. We were able, our volunteer team and our social work team were able to situate it. We put her chair into the basket of the balloon, and she couldn't move anything on her own, but she was able to go on a hot air balloon ride before she passed. It was,
wow.
She was a wonderful, wonderful lady. We've done a wedding here in Bismarck. Somebody with a cancer diagnosis who just wanted to have that wedding before she passed, and we were able to play a big part in it. Got a lot of, the Heritage Center involved, and just different things. Even in COVID, we were able to pull that off. So we've got a wonderful team of very thoughtful and just ingenious people to do some of these things.
And I get the impression they love their work.
Oh, undoubtedly. Yeah, I can't tell you how much I love our team. It's just a fantastic group of folks.
Now, this segment is usually reserved for our lighter side, and I felt like this is inspirational, and this is the lighter side. And I want to put up some ideas for gifts. If you have a loved one in hospice, people are always trying to figure out good gifts to give to anybody. But in this situation, a digital photo frame, soothing candles, a water bottle cover, because a lot of times a hot water bottle is being used, and if you got something a little homey or pretty that might make it a little more comfortable for them, a warm, comfortable blanket, or a contemplative figure, image, statue. It could be a family photo, it could be, a crucifix, whatever might be special for them. And then a digital voice recorder where maybe they can talk their way through a lot of their feelings and share things with loved ones for when they're gone that you can listen back to.
Some of our team has done things like that as far as writing the story. Some of our World War II vets, those are a wonderful group of guys, but they have wonderful stories. We had one of the oldest living member of the Coast Guard, female member of the Coast Guard was on our service. Well over 100. and just delightful. And they worked with her trying to
Wow.
record some of her story, and yeah, it's just an amazing opportunity to meet some really fantastic people.
Just listening to you, I feel like your lives must be so enriched by the people that you're caring for.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. It's just a wonderful opportunity to play an important role in such a huge part of our lives. Yeah, people ask me all the time, isn't that depressing? And I think anything but. I think it would be depressing without our services. I mean, I think to die alone and to die without the supports, but I've seen really bad deaths. I spent a lot of time in the ER, but these are just beautiful, most of the time wonderful chances for the families to come together and do things the right way. We only get one chance to do it.
Right. I think the opposite is more depressing, is not facing it. And you help everybody face it in a beautiful, supportive way.
Absolutely.
Give them services, help them. Probably, I bet you've seen a lot of reconciliations in families at the end.
Absolutely. Everybody sees lights staring down the eyes of a train. Yeah, when it's coming, you can't avoid it. And so that it forces people to do the things they've been putting off. And yeah, we've got a great team to help with that.
To have that closure. And,
Yep.
yeah.
And hospice isn't just at home. My brother-in-law passed not too long ago, and he was actually in the nursing home.
Yep.
In a COVID unit. And so visitations were so limited at the time, but they tried all that they could to try to get the family involved. And it really made the time that was there more meaningful for not just for the patient, but for the rest of the family members.
Right.
So it is a beautiful service.
Absolutely. We've had to be real creative, but a lot of telehealth phone calls, families on the one end of the phone.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, I bet you know how to make things happen, and you've dealt with
Well,
a lot
our
of different
IT team
situations.
does.
Thank you so much, Dr. Melberg, for coming here today.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Inspiration. And for you viewers, coming up next is Down the Road with Joel Heitkamp. We'll be back again tomorrow, and I hope you will too, with Ladies of Another View on Beck.